This is Dr. Naveen Nanda and Dr. Rakesh Sharma is the Naveen Nanda is Dr. Naveen Nanda is the founder of American Association of Cardiologists of Indian origin. Dr. Rakesh Sharma is the cardiologist from Florida. He is now the president of the organization. So tell us, Dr. Nanda, tell us about your journey with the ASIO.
Well, ASIO has been around for over 3 decades now, and it is actually formed and even now looks after the interests of all cardiologists of Indian origin. And we have been conducting meetings twice a year at the American College of Cardiology and at the American Heart Association every year. And we get, this is in cooperation with the local Indian Physicians Association, so that, we have been having very, very successful meetings. And right now we have a very president with a real good vision, big vision, so that we can get more people to join our organization, so we can get really more and more of the cardiologists of Indian origin, especially younger ones, to join our association. So he has made a lot of efforts to get the website together, and so we are really very thankful to him. And I let him now talk about the ASIO also.
Dr. Nanda, just before I go to Dr. Rakesh Sharma, I want to ask you a question. You are also have a lot of associations with other ethnic organizations. So tell us a little bit about that, ACC and other ABC and other
organizations. Well, we have quite a very good association with the Association of Black Cardiologists in this country, and as it happens that I was born in Kenya, so many times I used to say that I'm a real true African, and you guys are born in USA, you are not really Africans anymore. And so actually I served on that organization for 2 terms, and really collaborated very well with our association and their association, so that actually at one point in time I was given a Bridge Award for bridging cardiologists of Indian origin and ABC together. And also we helped form with Dr. Hanuman Reddy and Dr. Rakesh Sharma, we helped form the Chinese Association of American Cardiologists also, where Dr. Shuping Ge was really the founder of that association.
So, thank you. Dr. Rakesh Sharma, you are a very distinguished cardiologist and you're an academician, very well known. So tell us a little bit about your background and then see ASIO's involvement with you.
Well, thank you much. Today I have a little bit of laryngitis, so my voice may not come out as clear. But I'm the current president of ASIO, and today we're going to have a meeting with more than 200 people. The venue is absolutely great. I think last year when we met, we had some initiatives. We wanted to update our website. The website is looking great. We wanted to increase our membership. Membership is growing. And one of our main initiatives was that we want to foster a relationship with all other larger organizations such as ACC. American College of Cardiology, we already have fostered a very good relationship. And actually, we were one of the key factor. Dr. Naveen Nanda has gotten a award which is named in his name, and that is called Naveen Nanda International Service Award. This award would be given for the first time to the winner in ACC 2026. And this award, Dr. Nanda got himself. To us, it is a matter of pride, because here the ACC and AACIU has come together to have this award in the name of Dr. Nanda. And we're really, truly proud of it.
Well-deserved honor, Dr. Nanda. So talk about a little bit about this award. How do you, who gets it? What is the process for this, to get this award?
I think Dr. Nanda got that award. He can tell you better. Yeah. It's a very difficult award to get.
Yeah.
I think this award was given to me because of a lot of work I did for the American College of Cardiology internationally also, bringing together cardiologists of Indian different countries together and making them recognize American College of Cardiology and cooperate with them. So I got that particular award many years ago, and this I'm so very proud and humbled that this award is being named after me, and Naveen Nanda International Service Award in perpetuity. So it will be permanently in my name. I'm really humbled with that honor.
So who are qualified here, like academicians or?
Mostly it's going to be academicians who actually go and organize conferences or go and give lectures and do some other work there, charitable work even in some other countries, and putting the ACCA name forward. And I'm also proud to say that this is the first time this award has been given to any person of Indian origin. So far it has been given to persons of usually from USA, but this is the first time it's been given to someone from Indian origin. So we're really very proud of that fact also.
That's a very congratulations.
This award typically also goes to a person who has done a lot of original contribution in the field of cardiology or a field of the subspecialty. And Dr. Nanda has done a lot of contribution, original contribution in the field of cardiology and echocardiography. So it's a well-deserved award. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Dr. Nanda. Both your academicians, what you like to present in the future in the cardiology side you want to see, since I'm from Silicon Valley, there's a lot of AI going on. What do you think technology and the cardiology can achieve in the future in the academically? That is.
I am more of a practitioner. I've been on academics and I have a current affiliate appointment as a professor. But I think artificial intelligence, I can give you an example. Every hospital has a different EMR. They still don't talk to each other. If I have to see you as a patient in an office, you have 5 different doctors. I can't see anybody's record. So I think in future the unification is about to happen. AI is going to revolutionize and that will translate into patient care. I think we look forward to that, and hopefully we'll have some more presentation on that topic in future.
Dr. Nanda, you are always embracing technology. I remember when I used to come and visit your lab, you used to have a lot of VCR machines, beta machines. You're never afraid of technology. Tell us a little bit about your love for technology.
Yeah, I think technology is very, very important because I think first of all, the clinical examination and looking at the patient is super important. But after that, I think the technology advancements really help a lot in our making diagnosis correctly. And I think AI would be really super helpful to us. But at the same time, there are some problems with AI, like black box. We don't know exactly how AI sometimes comes to some conclusions, and sometimes artificial intelligence hallucinates. That means it gives wrong answers. So we have to really be careful with that. But that also means that it depends on what data we put in. If we put in a lot of good data in AI, I think we'll get very good answers, and it'll make everything faster for us, quicker for us, and the treatments will be better. But on the other hand, if we put in wrong data or something doesn't go through very well, we'll have really problems with the artificial intelligence. So we really have to be careful with the artificial intelligence. What AI has helped right now is the development of drugs, because when experimentalists think in terms of developing a drug, they think of some ideas, and when they put some of those ideas in AI, in the AI system, AI gives them some very good ideas. So it's going to be very, very helpful in developing new drugs for diseases for which we don't have good drugs right now.
You're living a great legacy, Dr. Nanda. We want you to live 200 years. And let us talk about future of the ASIO, American Association of the Cardiologists of Indian Origin. What are you expecting the future of the ASIO?
I think there is no question that I think our future would be to just look after the interests of all the cardiologists of Indian origin. And what Dr. Rakesh Sharma has done is to develop the website and also given some concessions regarding fees for becoming a permanent member. So we want to enroll as many cardiologists as possible, and that is his dream. And I think that his dream and vision is going to come true. We probably are going to have most of the cardiologists of Indian origin, especially we are looking for younger ones, especially not the older ones only. They'll become our members, and that's going to be our future. And that we will be able to do a lot of work here. We could even dominate the cardiology field in the future to some extent.
Dr. Sharmaji, you initiated the life membership, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
So, I believe I may not be correct on the statistics. I believe there are about 6,000 cardiologists of Indian origin. I think the power comes from the numbers. We want to have as many members as possible. Then we will work for them. For example, I think fostering the relationship, developing a relationship with larger societies, and our people getting recognized and getting named appropriately. would be very good. Of course, we do very good academic programs. We do a very good program with young investigator awards are given here. And they present their original research, and at least we select 3 or 4 every year. We have done at least to date 93 young investigators, and we're proud to continue that tradition.
Yes, thank you so much. This is the founder of the American Association of Cardiologists of Indian origin, Dr. Naveen Nanda, now present president, Dr. Rakesh Sharma. Thank you for joining with us. Hey, welcome to the MedBix webcast. I skipped my intro video because we have a long video. This one I wanted to present that. This is I'm the host. This is Raman Anam Raju. I'm the host for the MedBix webcast. Welcome to the MedBix webcast. So I went to this is the video is during the ACC American College of Cardiology meeting in Chicago in March, the last month, in end of March. So I met, that is the particularly a section, American Association of Cardiologists of Indian origin is the Indian group. We meet in separate times, separate place during the same time in the ACC meetings. So actually I interviewed last week, that Dr. Bayemi Bhatt, she's the Chief Innovation Officer for American College of Cardiology. So during the ASIO, which is American Association of Physicians of Cardiologists of Indian origin, I met I was sitting next to the two wonderful young people. One is Adriana Mares, and then Amanpreet Singh, Amanpreet Wasir. Amanpreet Singh Wasir is a bigger, longer than my last name. So Amanpreet Singh Wasir is the name. Okay, so I was sitting there, and he was that Dr. Rakesh Sharma was talking about the Young Investigator Award. He was one of the selected of the Young Investigator Award, Amanpreet Singh. I'm going to bring him in a minute. Let me bring you these two young people. One of the first one is Adriana Mares. She is joining from Washington, D.C. She is a medical student, very insightful. She connects all the very strange dots, like ethnicity, race, and cardiology, cardiac disease. And then she did some publications also on the valve replacement and blood thinners. We can talk with her. But one of the most important, she is involved in the Hispanic research. I I worked with a lot of Hispanic doctors. I have a lot of good friends, Hispanic leaders. In fact, my good friend is Rudy Becerra. Hello, he is vice president of Coca-Cola from Atlanta, Georgia. So I have a lot of extensive, So she is focusing on a little bit of a Hispanic cardiology side, cardiac disease side. Let me bring her, Adriana Mares. I hope I say her name correct. Welcome, Adriana. Welcome to the Red Big Webcast.
Hi, Lamana. Thank you for having me. And it's such an honor to be part of MedBreak's podcast and an honor to have met you. Thanks to my friend and colleague, Aman, who's also joining us today. So I look forward to our conversation so that we can both learn about each other's work. Thank you again.
Adriana, you started your journey in El Paso, Texas, right? So
Yes,
you started some kind of a El Paso cardiac Institute of Cardiology of El Paso at El Paso. Tell us a little bit about that. What is that? What is that all about?
That's a very interesting question because when I think of the Institute of Cardiology at El Paso, which is for short, we call it ICEP, it really brings back memories to when I was probably 15 years old. I created that organization at my local college while I was still in high school. And nobody really believed in that idea of creating a cardiology organization in high school because people thought it was very early for students to think about a specialty like cardiology. But I found a really good friend of mine whom I will always remember, Artemio Munoz. I unfortunately lost Artemio during the pandemic, but I will always be thankful for him because we both believed in the idea of creating this cardiology organization at our university while we were still in high school.
She is traveling right now.
Others who then
she's
believed
kind of
in
freezing
us.
up. But that is young age. He started that. That is an amazing, Adriana. Such a young age. You're involved in that is really I breaking the out of the box thinking. You're out of the box thinker. I can see that through the entire career. Let me ask you a question about I was reading about you. You're one of the scholars for the all of us research of National Institute of Health. National Institute of Health director is from here, Stanford, Dr. J. Bhattacharya. He moved there from here. He was one time I wanted to bring him on my podcast. Fortunately, that he was selected to that, and so he could not able to come probably. But let me ask you a question. What is all of us research? It's a very interesting concept, right? They wanted to gather huge amount of data. Tell us a little bit about that, Adriana.
Thank you. And I know I froze previously with the cardiology organization, but to be short on that, it's a cardiology organization for students in El Paso. And we just get to meet each other and work and meet mentors who are willing to mentor us on cardiology and research. So that's just a bit about ICEP. Now moving on to the All of Us. I joined as a participant ambassador for the National Institutes of Health All of Us research program in 2017. And that's the first year that the NIH All of Us research program started. It's a 10-year program, which means that it will continue up until 2027. Its goal is to have at least 1 million participants throughout the United States. And so for short, it's a historic effort to collect and study data from 1 million or more people in the United States And the goal of the program is to better health for all of us by helping us through the data that participants are willing to share, helping us uncover the role of precision medicine.
Amazing.
Because, yes,
The
I'll
program
leave it
is
as that.
amazing.
So I'll just get any questions. It truly is, because after the Human Genome Project, this is the next big thing. This is the one project that the US government, that the National Institutes of Health is investing here in the US to help us innovate and help advance medicine through precision medicine.
So that kind of you collecting a huge amount of data from 1 million people. That
Yes.
means you have a wide spectrum of you can do. People like Amanpreet Singh, who is coming on coming up now, who can do a lot more research because he has a lot more things to play with. This data, huge amount of data, right?
Absolutely.
So from 1 million people with the different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different lifestyles, all of them are that's the data is missing in particularly cardiac disease is the number one disease. We need that
Yes.
kind of a data that is at least that is a. Let me bring Aman Preet Singh to the table. Aman is a prolific researcher. He started he's a very passionate guy. That the doctor. He is a hot. He started a hot to hot. I think hot to hot. He started one Indian Sanskrit name, Hurdayaman. Let me ask you, Hurday means is a heart, a mind, I think. Hurday, I remember in Indian. So he started a foundation. Let me bring him to the table. Uh, Aman, welcome to the Med. Aman, welcome to the MedMix webcast.
Hi Ramana, hi Adriana. Thank you so much for having me. It's so great to finally be here again to meet you all together after ASIO.
Yeah. Yes, Aman, tell us a little bit your journey, a little bit briefly. How did you? This is a as I read about your bio, you were traveling in the United States, all the hospitals, Beth Israel, then Mayo Clinic. You went to a lot of places. So tell me the journey from a medical doctor to the this kind of journey. What was your goal, and then you start a foundation. Give us a little bit about your background, a little bit.
Sure, sure. So I'll start to begin as Adriana began in high school. I said that I have always been a very strong advocate for early career professionals because I am one of them. I am a young professional who is passionate, who wants to learn more, grow more, know more. And I think that's where my interest stemmed from cardiology. I'm currently serving as an intern doctor in Bharati Vidyapeeth in Pune, and I serve on different committees for the ACC and the American Society of Preventive Cardiology, the ASPC, the Early Career Working Group. Apart from this, most of my recent research and clinical work has been very focused in preventive cardiology. While I do a little stuff on the side as well, ACC Medical Student Leadership Group has amazing activities for enthusiastic people like us, like all of us, and that's what interested me a lot. I think 2.5 years back, where I started a cardiology interest group back in my medical school to foster a collaborative kind of a gathering of medical students and early career professionals who were interested in cardiology, talking about cardiology, awareness about cardiology, and just simple educative activities, be it seminars, guest presentations, something very simple, but something which is very impactful in their long term journey. It's so interesting. Over the last 2 years, we did so many activities, reached out to people who really needed us. Patients really helped out them in whatever small or little way we could. And I think that's where my interest in public health also started. And the beginning of this year, I launched my own non-profit organization in India to get the name correct, the Hriday Amrit Foundation. Hriday Amrit is obviously, yes, a Sanskrit Hindi name which combines two words, Hriday and Amrit. Hriday means the heart, as you correctly pointed out, and Amrit means divine nectar or empowerment. So the ethos behind Hriday Amrit Foundation is to advocate for patient health literacy because that's something which really lacks in India, and empower patients to make informed health decisions. Because once we empower someone about a disease, what they are going through, they have that empowering energy within them to take good and informed decisions for themselves and the family. And that's something less a small step towards prevention and promotive health. Yes.
Aman, you won the Young Investigator Award for the American Association of Physicians of Cardiologists of Indian origin. I'm actually involved in that organization with Dr. Nanda. Let me. What was the research you did briefly? Can you tell us a little bit about in what that research is all about?
Of course. So no, first of all, I'm so very grateful to the whole RCO, Dr. Nanda, Dr. Sharma, all of the team for selecting me for this award. It's one of the greatest honors I've received in my early career right now. The presentation, the research that I worked with was at Mount Sinai with my preceptor and my mentor, Dr. Gilbert Tang, and the whole interventional and structural team, who I'm very grateful for. The concept and the submission of the abstract, which was selected, was a complex case of an evoke tricuspid transcatheter valve and the role of intracardiac echocardiography in it. I know it sounds very complicated, but just to simplify it, we use echo all the time in our labs, but using intracardiac echocardiography during interventional procedures is very important. Imaging has become and has emerged as a very important diagnostic and sometimes even a therapeutic tool in such procedures. We've always treated mitral and aortic valve in terms of transcatheter interventions, but tricuspid is the new big thing which is coming up in interventional cardiology and structural. So Evoke is a recently approved FDA valve for treating tricuspid regurgitation. Of course, it has very specific indications, but the hallmark and the key takeaway from this project was that intracardiac echocardiography is very important in cases where imaging becomes paramount. For example, the patient that we presented had a ICD lead inside, so that casts a little shadow and that makes it a little complicated. And it's become the opposite now. We have to rely on the imager to give us the go ahead in order to move ahead with the procedure.
You know,
So
the,
that's something with
Aman,
a complex case. Yes.
Dr. Nanda one time told me he was the first inventor of the discovered of the fourth valve. Fourth valve, the pulmonary valve is supposed to be behind. You could not see. That's what they said. That no, and that's the reason. One of the reasons he probably selected you, because that you found that pacemakers could obstruct that kind of a shade. It can create a shade and not give a clear picture of the heart in the valve situation, right? That is what one of your research is. Amazing research. You're a prolific researcher. Let me ask you. Let us talk about India a little bit. You're in India. You're calling me from Delhi, India. India. I've seen the explosion of diabetes, explosion of cardiac diseases in India is ever young, is striking very young people, 20 years old, 30 years old. So what is this explosion? How do you manage nationally? Or do we have any national policy or national systems available to address this kind of a massive impending danger?
Right. No, this is, I think, the most apt question of this conversation. India, we're not waiting for it. We are at risk. I'll quote a documentary film which was just released, and I encourage all of the people who are watching this podcast to see it. It's known as The Brown Heart, which is just released recently on Geo Hotstar, and it really answers what you've just asked me. Why the risk of cardiovascular diseases in South Asians is higher than the rest of the populations, ethnically and geographically? Why Indians are at a higher risk? It's a manifold answer because the answer is multifactorial. There is genetics involved. There are other environmental things which are involved. But most importantly, everything stems down to the fact that, as you said, that there were government policies and everything. I'll come to that later on. But I think I'll just address it very simply that Indians are at a very high risk of cardiovascular diseases. And I actually quote it in the sense saying by Indians are actually at a higher risk for cardiometabolic diseases because cardiac diseases, like when you talk about cardiovascular diseases, it never comes just single-handedly. In most of the cases in Indian population, it comes with other factors. For example, obesity. The epidemic of obesity is rampant. Diabetes, hypertension, And then we come to the risk factors, which, as we've all read in medical school, can be divided into modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors. Non-modifiable risk factors means your gender, whether you're a male or you're female. And since I'm saying this, I have to say it that women are equally targeted for cardiovascular diseases. It's the number one killer in women population as well. So we have gender, then we have ethnicity, we have all the different races coming together, and all of that, and the family history. But coming to the modifiable ones, it's up to you when it comes to your diet, your lifestyle, how you manage stress, what kind of a personality do you have. So when we talk about prevention, it's an integrative kind of a level of prevention that we're looking at. Answering your question for governmental policies, yes, we do have national policies. For example, the NCD policy in India, which targets non-communicable diseases. Honestly speaking, from a healthcare perspective, disseminating the efficacy of that policy at a grassroots level is extremely difficult, because what we lack right now is awareness, is health literacy, and that's the reason why I started with my foundation.
Let us talk about that a little bit. Let me bring Adriana to the table, into the discussion. Adriana, what is the Hispanic population? Are there any studies done among Hispanic population compared to the white population or other population, the risk factors? Are there any similar risk factors like Indians? Are there any different problems they have? Can you shed some light on that, Adriana?
Thank you for that question, Pramana. I think for me as a Hispanic woman, it's very important for me to bring light to topics like these, like what you mentioned. I just got a grant from the National Institutes of Health, the NIH, to study Hispanics and their cardiovascular risk, especially in those who have sleep disorders. And so we're working on that project, but specifically in cardiology. And thanks to one of my mentors, Dr. Harsha Nagarajarao and Dr. Devabrata Mukherjee, we were able to bring light to something as simple as coronary artery anomalies. So we found in that study that there's actually no data in Hispanics for specifically coronary artery anomalies. And that's just to name
So there
one
is a research
condition.
that, if you don't mind, funny, you're saying that you did some research on finding out there is no data there. That's what you're saying?
So we so we took a look at coronary artery anomalies in Hispanics because there was no data specifically in this ethnicity. There was data for Indians, Asians, whites, Blacks, and African Americans, but no data on Hispanics.
Yeah.
And we thought we wanted to change that. So we reviewed over 5,000 coronary angiograms during the pandemic. And I was there at the hospital, learned everything from them, very thankful for their teachings. And we found that there's actually a higher prevalence of coronary artery anomalies in Hispanics at 8.6% compared to whites who are at 4%, and other ethnicities who have even a much lower prevalence of coronary artery anomalies. So these kinds of studies really helps us understand that there is a paucity of data in the Hispanic population that we need to bring light to. And thanks to funding sources like the NIH, who are helping us advance and help us advance medicine, help us change this specifically for the Hispanic population.
Let me talk with the both of you about the lifestyles a little bit, because lifestyles, the Aman is talking about lifestyle is an important one, modifiable lifestyle that he's talking about. So let me just, Aman, I will ask both of you, what would be India as a Ayurveda is a long time, food is a medicine, that's what they say in India. So what would be, you think that anything that you think of, we need to change the modifications of lifestyle? What is missing in Indian pathology in that sense?
I'm so happy that you asked and you spoke about Ayurveda, because while I was at ACC, I happened to interact with so many cardiologists of Indian origin and of other origins as well. And I think the general consensus was that Ayurveda and other, I would say, secondary lines of healthcare or medicine are not very widely recognized. Of course, they hold a lot of potential. I myself have been talking about holistic health, but I think we have to change the terminology a little bit so that people try to understand it better. I think instead of holistic health, you can quote it as integrative health. You cannot just have your prevention and without any integrative health. It has to be in a coherence together. Lifestyle modification, as far as they go, if there is a patient who is at a high risk for cardiovascular disease, of course the stress is already there. We, I think, sometimes undermine the role played by your kind of a personality and the amount of stress and the way you manage it. We have diet, of course. We have different diets. We have a diabetic diet, we have weight loss diets all around. Everyone's talking about protein intake, weight training, all of that, which is very true. But also understanding that you don't have to go to the gym every single day for 2 hours, and you don't have to go for a marathon every week to achieve that. Even a good walk for a 35-40 minutes, a brisk walk 4 times a week, can give you equal amount of advantages. As far as
Yeah.
the diet is concerned, sorry, I'll just complete on this. As far as the diet is concerned, of course, Indian food is known for its taste, right? But we should always see and moderate that, not going overboard with anything, and just restricting the not only the calorie intake but also supplementing it with quite a lot of protein to balance it out is very important.
Adriana, I spoke with a couple in from Ecuador. They're from a blue zone diet. It's a blue zone area near Ecuador. They're talking about blue zone diet is basically people live longer than any other place, and there's special diet that the people are living longer. So, do you think there is something missing in the Hispanic lifestyle? What do you think is missing in the Hispanic lifestyle to reduce to what you need to do, people like you, to reduce this stress on the system and this on the cardiovascular disease?
Thank you, Ramana, for that question. And I'm glad that you got to meet, people from different parts of the world. And it's interesting that you mentioned about the blue zone. I'm very curious about that. And to answer your question on the what we could do as a Hispanic population to reduce that stress, or at least help us reduce our cardiovascular risk. We can follow the American Heart Association Life's Simple Seven, which focuses on diet. That's one of the things that Amanpreet has mentioned. Our food and our cuisine also has a lot of not probably so healthy ingredients, and I think that that's a good start. So diet, it's included in the American Heart Association Life's Healthy Simple Seven, and the rest, which I'm just gonna mention, is exercise, losing weight, stop smoking, controlling cholesterol, managing blood pressure, and reducing blood sugar. Of course, those are quite a list of simple tips that the American Heart Association advises, but perhaps they're not so simple for those that do not have access to healthy foods. But there's always a start, and I think that's the key thing, that it's worth trying, because as long as someone is worth it's trying then to live a healthier lifestyle, then they're starting a journey to living a healthier life for themselves and their families.
Yeah, I want to ask you, both of you, this is a massive problem. How education is always abstract, right? People don't pay attention to education, So how, one of the things, evidence-based medicine, you can show them, right? For example, I did one of the tests is autonomic dysfunction test. You can do the autonomic dysfunction test. They tell you preventive kind of test to quantify their health. They can show them where the health status are on a continuous basis. Remote patient monitoring is one of them. Monitoring. So tell us a little bit, both of you, Aman, what do you think of this remote patient monitoring and the evidence-based medicine to show these people they should take it serious.
Right. Before answering that, just a small comment. Adriana very rightly pointed out the Life's Essential Aid as guided by the AHA, which is a very simple yet very impactful kind of a guide for people who are looking for prevention of cardiovascular diseases. Apart from that, I have to comment about the weight loss drugs and the era we are currently in. Ozempic, semaglutide, Rybelsus, now tirzepatide coming in a big way. Everyone's looking at phenomenal results, but I think it's very important to know the right indications for those drugs. Of course, they have really good results which have been presented at international platforms, and we are still in the building of much greater things in terms of drugs. But knowing the right indications and what kind of a diet you're looking for. People are these days, I've heard so many people ask me about OMAD diet, which is 1 meal a day, which is an explosive, I would say, a version of intermittent fasting. But I think knowing indications and doing a balanced lifestyle approach is very important.
Man, I do that actually, 1 meal a day. That's what I do for last 14 years. Really helped me, to honestly. Very powerful intermittent fasting extreme, right? So it is really helpful. Intermittent fasting is one of the things we should promote. India, Upavasan, is a very popular, you start with a Sanskrit organization. So that Upavasan is one of the Mahatma Gandhi did that. And it's a very common satyagraha is a fasting is a very part of the Indian culture, right? So one of the things I think is one way to promote that is through culture and religion. I think promote the upavasana satyagraha more and more. That what do you think of that idea?
I wish I could do OMAD. I feel hungry all the time. I wish I could do some kind of intermittent after evening. But yes, as you said, upasana or vrat, as people say, fasting, which people do for religious or cultural reasons in India and other populations. It is very good in terms of, and if used diligently and intelligently, because, especially it has to be very cautiously used in diabetic populations because there is a risk for going into hypoglycemia. So that should be avoided at all costs to avoid worsening of any conditions. And coming back to the question which you asked me, which was remote monitoring and telehealth. I've been working recently with a lot of AI platforms, and I always say AI. And I remember I and Adriana had interviewed Dr. Ichapuria in ACC regarding the future of telehealth and AI in cardiology. And she very rightly said that AI shouldn't be looked as artificial intelligence. It should be looked as augmented intelligence or augmented reality, which is very true. But implementing it in a middle to low income country like India is difficult. So that's something which I've started with my foundation as well through a grassroots campaign to advocate for health literacy and remote monitoring. I'll give you just a small snippet into what we are doing. We are hosting an inaugural campaign known as the Hriday Path, which is the path to heart. It's a movement by auto rickshaw drivers. So what we're doing is medical students and early career professionals will be going to auto rickshaw drivers, taking their understanding about cardiovascular diseases, then educating them about what are the high risks, what are the ways of prevention, what are the methods, when do you say that this is a red warning flag sign and you need to go to the emergency, etc. And then taking a questionnaire and following them up again and again, because we have to at the end of the day make it scientific. What we're doing, it should really be translated into science. But what this will do is the auto rickshaw guy, if he has a passenger who's traveling with them and if he sees that the guy is sweating, he is having palpitations, and he might be at a risk for an imminent heart attack, he might just report him to the EMD. The auto rickshaw guys are the grassroots workers in a way, because they are first responders for a lot of people from villages who especially come to the hospitals in auto rickshaws. So I think inculcating their in that family, in their friend circle, would be our humble initiative to start something which can be followed up later on and expanded. But this is the kind of change we should look in India, because
Great idea.
we have umpteen amount of resources. Funding, if it's given in the right hands, and like NIH is big in the US and in other countries. In India, we have ICMR, we have DGHS, we have various government organizations which are ready to fund. But I think getting a good team together to form a very focused policy or doing something which is impactful is really important right now.
Very good. People, I'm confident with people like you, both professionals like you, Adriana, and you. I think we are in a safe hands for the cardiology side. I'm going to present something different is the mental health side. That is a difficult one because it's not too many tools available in the mental health side. People are talking about it. Brain is a complex organism. After like that, I come back and I'll ask you, what is both your organizations do? I'll come back and I'm going to present that. Just give me 1 second, and then quick presentation that that about the psychedelic drugs. There is the new frontier of medicine. Maybe it is a very controversial, but that is a one thing that we are talking about. And then this is Amanpreet Wasir, doctor is a cardiologist, and then Adriana Mares, a cardiology student, and a very both innovative people. Let me talk about a little bit about mental health. What we are, just let me bring them to the side a little bit. Okay. Now, this is I'm going to tell you about this story. This is all, I already did that. This is Nathan Wong is coming. Is going to talk about Southeastern Asian health cardiac risk. Let me tell you, this is a very interesting story. In the middle of the pandemic, a story appeared on the digital magazine called Medium, the New Age magazine. And her name is Erin Balchweiler. She was diagnosed as a stage 4 metastatic cancer, breast cancer. She has 2 children, and she was worried about her children, and she was consumed by dying thoughts. She went to a doctor. A doctor is Dr. Sunil Kumar Agarwal, another Indian doctor. She went to him, and then he wanted to prescribe to subsidize that kind of thoughts. He thought that psilocybin, which is a psychedelic drug, would be very beneficial to her, Erin Balchweiler. But the psilocybin is defined as Schedule 1 drug. That means they have no currently accepted medical use in treatment. You cannot prescribe. You cannot get that medicines there. So Schedule 1 is strictly prohibited. So that's what she did. Guys, you can join anytime. This is Aman is talking about these psychedelics, mind-altering drugs. I don't know whether he disappeared a little bit. He's joining probably. So is some problem there? Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go and you can mention psychedelic drugs. Mass General Hospital is a center for founding member for the Mass General Hospital. They have a center for the neuroscience of psychedelics, and then John Hopkins is really premier research he's doing. It is called a Center for Psychedelic and Consciousness. And then UC Berkeley is doing Center for the Science of Psychedelics. These are all the science. They're doing active research in this area. So what are the psychedelic drugs? DMT is a dimethyltryptamine, is a MDMA, psilocybin, or ketamine. They're all the same kind of class families, mind-altering drugs. So one puzzle, it is what they found out, is John Hopkins found out, is that just one dose of 200 milligrams of psilocybin is curing the depression. That's what they were surprised. So what they surprised is one dose of psilocybin is curing the disease, because all these patients are lifelong on the drugs, on the psychiatric drugs, psychotropic drugs. So what was the one drug, one dose can cure? What is that's a scientific puzzle. So we don't know the mechanism. But until we have this extraordinary woman, Gul Dolan, is a Turkish-American woman. She's a John Hopkins doctor at the time. She's in UC Berkeley now. She's a MD, PhD doctor. She was doing a lot of research on the psychedelics and theory of mind. Okay. And then what she found out, she found a master key to the mind during this process. She became a very popular during this process. It is called, so she was doing, she's very well known for octopus psychedelics, octopus. Octopus is very interesting animal. It has no frontal cortex, but it has like a human behavior. It exhibits like a human behavior, octopus. It has jealousy, trickery, all those things like what we humans do. one thing very characteristic of octopus is that they are antisocial. They don't like to be, except the meeting time, they don't want to be next to each other. What she did was she injected some psychedelic drugs. She gave the MDMA, and then she found extraordinary difference. They got together. What is that? Yeah, the octopuses are spending more time together. Very striking. This is a peer-reviewed study. She was amazed. This study became a very popular, very famous. She became a very famous. She's a Turkish-American woman. She's from Texas, close to not that far from El Paso, inland Texas. She's from. She grew up there, and then Guldolin moved to the John Hopkins, and then UC Berkeley. She did this amazing research. But what they found out is psychedelics, they did something special. They open a critical period. Critical period is learning stages, developmental stages in the critical periods. I will explain to you what is the critical period of. Psychedelics really affecting the critical periods. What is a critical period? What early childhood development? It is the learning process is a very definite for humans, very short period of time. There is a beginning, clear ending. There is no abstract. It is a very clean cut beginning and ending. So early childhood development is extremely important. At the age of 1, they learn the movement. The age of 2, senses. Age of 3, languages. They learn. If you move to another country, if I move from India to here, my accent cannot go. Even if the after 6 or 7, it's extremely difficult to change the accent because the languages are already is in the brain already done. So changing the accents are very difficult. That's one of the reasons is that critical periods open up a very short period of time. So the Jan LeCun, AI researcher from Meta, the chief artificial intelligence director for Meta, he said that 20 megabytes per second, 4-year-old can absorb 20 megabytes per second, like 1 petabyte. Amazing amount of information they can absorb. That is an amazing thing. So in the early childhood days, that is what she found out is that connection between psychedelics opening the critical periods again. By administering the psychedelics, Guldolin found out you can end, and I never took the psychedelic drugs. I never did. I didn't take any drugs. So power of psychedelics, she says that psychedelics can open the critical periods. That's what it means. It means it opens for learning. I can be 60-year-old, I can learn. I can go again like young and curious. My mind become young and curious with neuroplasticity. That's what she says, that with the power of psychedelics, you can reverse that you can open the critical periods. That is what the research she found out. Amazing research. I mean, she definitely would deserve to get a Nobel Prize in this one. So that's a puzzle solved. How do you do that? When you open the critical period, when you go to therapy, for example, or you give a dosage, and therapy, you need to be when you administer the 200 milligram psilocybin, it's not enough. You need to go to the psychotherapy. You need to administer because that's your learning during the time. That's extremely important. So that's a depression. The cure for the depression is that critical period open. You're more receptive than any other time. So the critical periods closes after 6, not too much open. Now you can, with the psychedelic drugs, they're saying with the controlled psychedelic drugs, you can open up the critical periods. What she said. That is an amazing research she did. I mean, so another thing is loneliness. Old people are lonely people. Loneliness is one of the biggest problem in the world. In fact, China, Japan, United States. So what she says that if you can open up psychedelic drugs, the reward pathways are open up in the brain. And then once you have a meter, that's not enough. You can open up the critical periods. But for those old people, you can open up the critical periods, but still you need to create a situation, environment that they can interact. So meetup groups, social groups, you got to have that to create that the reward pathways. They can enjoy, they can learn that loneliness is going to go down with this one. So the amazing research was founded. So we have mental health crisis is coming, is bigger than economic crisis. So we need a lot of tools. This is one of the tools. Trump administration passed the Right to Try Act, is investigational drugs, but the agencies say that is these psychedelic drugs are a little bit of problem. Now there is a new kind of drugs are coming up. Skip the trip. This is a non-hallucinogenic. A lot of psychedelic drugs gives you audio visual stimulations, and they give you a lot of hallucinations. So what they're saying is you can take the hallucinogenic part of it, and then you can still use the benefit of it. So there's a Seaport and then Gilgamesh, all these companies are joining. They got a lot of funding, $1.95 billion. That's going to be the future arsenal for the mental health. So they found out in the City of Hope in Los Angeles, California, diabetes actually with the psychedelics, 700% increase in insulin producing beta cells. These are only educational purposes. I'm not a doctor. Don't take my advice. You need to go to the doctors. But diabetes is increasing the insulin producing beta cells. Ayahuasca, for example, in the central America, they use it, is actually reducing the PTSD, traumatic brain injury, stroke. You can use them, all of them. It's a control in the controlled way. It's not like a recreational. It's a controlled way. So it's a new era of medicine is coming up, powerful thing to treat mental health and psychedelics. There's a brain, mind, spirituality, and religion. There is a cross section there. We are entering into the new war. So thank you for watching, and let me bring Adriana back to the table there, and let me.
It seems like Amanpreet is in the backstage.
What? No, he's not there. I don't know where is he. Is Aman? If you are there, please come down. So let's talk about it. You can comment on that a little bit. It's a controversial subject, is psychedelics, but the amazing research is going on in now. It is really opening up a new. I am going to present the second part of it. Actually, you can replace without the drugs. You can replace with the technology, virtual reality, and brain training programs. You can replace without the drugs. You can do the same simulations and then can get the same effect, possibly. I'm going to present that topic later on about that. So it is going to be. So, he's a doctor. He's worried about that psychedelic drugs is a controversial thing. He probably doesn't want to be associated with it. But, you need to be open to all the out of the box thinking is important. We need to have, as a doctor, I never took any drugs, but you need to have all the tools available without the reservations. And then we need to address this massive problem. Mental health, cardiac diseases, these are all massive problems, right? So, Adriana, tell us a little bit about your, he joined. What did he could not able to join, I think. I can't see him.
He says he's in the backstage, Romana.
Okay.
Did he join again, or?
Okay, now I see him. Okay.
Hi. I'm so sorry. I've been here all the time, but I think my video was not visible.
Yeah, that was okay.
Right.
So it is a very highly research oriented. This one, Aman, as a physician, we have to open to all the things. When India, when opened Ayurveda, yoga, meditation, used to be cuckoo kind of medicine in the previous days. Now it has become a mainstream. So we need to open to all ideas of all over the world. What are the things are working? What are the things? Medicine has to go forward. Okay, this is a medicine. I want a medicine forward. These are all. Okay, so that is the new things that we need to have a. One of the things I want to ask you, Aman, is that how much mental health is involved in the obesity and the cardiac diseases. The mind is important, right? It plays a very important role. Can you tell us, and both of you, if you can tell us a little bit, that would be great.
Right.
So
Adriana, you want to go first?
I guess
Yeah.
I'll just touch on cardiology because when you think of mental health and cardiology, one condition really brings, like I think of one condition, and perhaps there's, of course, other conditions related to this as well, but Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, which is known as broken heart syndrome. It's a cardiomyopathy that's triggered by severe emotional or physical stress. And most of the times, emotional stress is after a passing of a loved one or an event that happened in their life and that causes them to then be diagnosed with this temporary condition, which could be treated. But you see the connection of depression and the heart. There is a true connection with with the brain and the heart, and this is a condition that confirms that. And so I just wanted to bring light to that, and from the heart standpoint, I'll
Excellent.
uh, I'll pass it on to you, Amanpreet.
Excellent information. That is very good. Broken heart syndrome is really true, and how much affects the stresses of our life. Tell us a little bit about that. How much mental health and how resolute we need to be to really follow the diet. I like Indian sweets. The moment I saw that, I grabbed them. It's a big problem in this controlling. Tell us a little bit about that. How much mental health plays a role in the cardiac health.
Right. I feel like Adriana shared about Takotsubo. That's something which is really actually genuinely close to my heart because my first research was on Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. And a research that we did in the COVID era, and we saw that there was an increased number of cases of Takotsubo during the COVID pandemic because people were losing their lives, people were losing their family members. So there was an increased incidence of Takotsubo during the COVID pandemic and afterwards. I feel that mental health is something which is still seen as a taboo in India, despite the awareness and the literacy and all the campaigns going around. But I also feel that this is something which needs to be addressed immediately. When I talk about cardiology or I just talk about general medicine, an integral part of well being is mental well being, is psychological well being. As far as what you said, that and a tendency to grab whatever we have together, I think it all starts with self control. But also, if you see a patient who is debilitated, who has comorbidities, who has excess weight, is obese, has hypertension, or has cardiovascular disease, the amount of apprehension and anxiety that the patient goes through is a lot, which needs to be addressed. Whenever we counsel our patients, I think as a physician, as I'm sure Adriana will agree with me, counseling holds a very important role when talking to a patient, especially if the patient has either someone in their family who's suffering or is suffering themselves. We spoke about psychedelic drugs or magic mushrooms, as they call it these days, also. I feel that, well, there is not a lot of research pertaining to the scientific part of that, but I'm sure that if it helps people and if it is safe and given in the right quantity, it might be able to. Because a lot of mood enhancing drugs, specifically the psychotropic agents, are really helpful in cases of depression, anxiety, and other disorders like PTSD. But psychedelic drugs is, I think, still something which is on the new frontier right now. So it will be interesting to see how the next few years turn out for that. But
Yeah,
mental health, as I said, you're right.
I agree
But
with you. I'm not a proponent of this. My job is to provide all. Actually, in fact, my second part of this one is you can replace with the new kind of technology, virtual reality and neurofeedback kind of technology that you can replace this kind of a drugs. Without those drugs, you can bring the same experience, same mental health and there. Let me ask you that how much, Vruday Amarti said that you're talking about mental health. Vruday means just brain, mind, heart, right? And Amarti that's like a long longevity. I want to ask you, both of you, what is the cardiac health's role in the longevity part of it? And in one of the things I saw, when I came to this country, I used to place a lot of cardiologists. They're finding jobs for them. One thing, a big change I saw is we have such a control of the cardiology field advanced in a very dramatic way. I used to have a black and white echocardiography. I used to go and see Dr. Nanda's office. Now we color Doppler. You got the now iPhone. Few blocks from here. I'm in Silicon Valley. Few blocks from here. One of the Telugu man that you opened a company, big company called Exo Imaging. Just the use of iPhone, and you can see the images as good as HP 5000. We used to advance multi-million-dollar equipment. So it's a really point of care is coming to us. The cardiology, we can get a hold of. I think people like you, Aman, that can really address the nationwide, and you can control. We have tools. We have people like you can manage this nationwide, and people like Adriana can manage this impending crisis. Tell us the final words, your organization, and what is your plans in the future. Aman, I will start with you.
Right. Thank you so much. Remote monitoring, telehealth technology is real, coming in a big way. AI, we've spoken about. There are a lot of devices which have been used, even for blood pressure measurement. I was just reading an article the other day which does remote monitoring of blood pressure. However, not FDA approved or not officiated. Of course, we now have AI tools to help us, but that doesn't mean our job is over. That just adds to what we are doing in order to ease in our work and spread the work across the grassroots level. As for Hriday Amrit Foundation, I feel we're just starting off right now, but we have a long term vision, which is over years and decades. I think helping people out in India or anywhere in the world can never be complete without intersectoral coordination and different kinds of collaborative efforts. It's very important for different organizations and people who can help to come together to have a streamlined protocol and one base which is very strong to help people out. Hriday Amrit will not only just focus on awareness and patient health literacy, CPR, or emergency training, but will also provide actual help to people who need it the most, be it mental well being, be it financial well being in terms of who cannot afford to have surgeries. There are already a lot of people who are doing great work in India and other places. Someone asked me that why Hriday Amrit? What is different in this non-profit? I just said one thing that this is something which is driven by young professionals and to advocate for health literacy in a country like India which is needed the most. So that's something which I would just stop with, and my key takeaway and my pearl which I can give to everyone who's listening is this time we have AI, we have technology, but what we need is promotive, preventive, and integrative health.
So
Thank you.
they can connect with you on the LinkedIn or Facebook somewhere, right? The Hriday Amrit is a beautiful Sanskrit word. So that is the Amanpreet Singh Wasir joining from Delhi, India. And then Adriana, tell us a little bit about you. What do you think of what is your future plans, and what do you think? What do you want to do?
Are we also, thank you, Ramana, for the question. Are you asking me also
I'm
about the
asking you, what is
long-term
your future
community
plan? What is your future
future
plan?
plans?
And then what is how do you they can
Yes,
reach you if they wanted to really people want to help you to grow this Hispanic research and all those things.
thank you.
You said that that's
Yes,
one of the things that you're talking about, right? So we
yes,
don't have the data. That's what one of the biggest challenge. So you need
that's right.
Hispanic organizations to be rallied around you and all those things, right?
Yes, Ramana, and thank you again for having me. And Amanpreet, so good to see you and get to be part of this podcast with you. I would love to collaborate with anyone who's interested in cardiology research to help us advance medicine for the Hispanic population. I look forward to eventually becoming a structural and a adult congenital heart disease interventionalist. Those are two specialties that have been inspired by two mentors who specialize in both of these fields. And I look forward to doing more research and staying up to date with the field. Um, and so that's really for me. And I look forward to connecting with those who would like to collaborate or just get to know me. And I also look forward to getting to know others' works through LinkedIn and platforms like this, like MedBricks. Thank you, Ramana, for having me.
I'm so honored to have you, both of you. It's really educational, and the work you're doing is a next generation work. I mean, I've seen the past, now you see the future here. I think you're one of the best people that they can take forward. I'm confident the cardiology and the heart health is on your great hands. Thank you for so much joining with me for this tonight. Thank you so much, both
Thank you.
Aman and Adriana. Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Good
Thank
Thank
night,
you.
all of you.
you.
Good night.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.